Hello, we are joined here today by Colonel Bernard Banks, the head Department of Behavioral Sciences and Leadership at the U.S. Military Academy, West Point. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Colonel Banks, you have quite a career behind you, both in the military at West Point Academy and teaching at Columbia University. Might I ask, how do you judge the current American military position strategy? Has the U.S. bid farewell to its role as policeman for the world, given the rather lax intervention in Ukraine?
Well, first, when it comes to matters of diplomacy, the military doesn't stand alone. The military is just one arm of any nation's diplomatic options. And so with regards to the Ukraine, the United States is trying to take a diplomatic approach and working in concert with other nations around the globe to hopefully reach a peaceful resolution to a very difficult situation. So the United States military per se does not view itself as having the lead role in that effort. The efforts of our Department of State, the efforts of our president, and also the efforts of the leaders of other nations that we are privileged to work in partnership with, together we hope that all of them will be able to bring about a peaceful resolution and once again restore the sovereignty of the Ukraine.
That sounds very democratic and diplomatic. Maybe how do you value the importance of traditional combat methods, including aviation, in a time in which wars are also fought electronically?
So conflict today is characterized by a number of things that do not involve shooting. Consequently, everyone has to develop the capacity to do things like cyber warfare, but also understand the cultural drivers of conflict in any region. So in the United States, for example, we are expending tremendous resources, creating individuals who speak the language, have studied the history, and have lived in the actual countries where the potential for conflict exists. So today, it's still important to have things like aviation or tanks and things of those nature. But once again, in order to really make a difference, you have to have a full suite of capabilities at your disposal.
Okay, and maybe besides your military career, you're also teaching at Columbia University. Have you noticed any change in the attitude or moral in your students over the course of your tenure?
So with regards to the students I've had the privilege of interacting with, I believe that today's student is very interested in understanding how they can take theory and apply it artfully. They're very concerned with the relevancy of what they study and how they can leverage that to make a positive difference in the world. It's insufficient to go into a classroom and merely describe a theory and not be able to provide real-world examples of how that theory plays out. So I would think that's the biggest thing I've seen in my time in the classroom, is that individuals want to know the application or the applicability of the things they're studying.
And what is the most important message you teach during your lectures on leadership?
So the most important lesson, I believe, is that leadership is a choice and that followers choose to follow. You cannot believe that you can simply order somebody to do something because you hold a position of authority over them. They are going to understand whether or not you are somebody they want to lead. And so in trying to teach leadership to others, I help them to understand that leadership is always about influence and relationship.
That's a very interesting concluding point. Thank you very much, Colonel Banks, for your time.